What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? I'm sorry that I was late. I was having some technical difficulties. My webcam wouldn't connect. So then I decided to just go ahead and go live, and I was just going to use my old, like the camera that's embedded in my computer. And then all of a sudden it started working. It's whatever. I don't know. I've been having so many issues with my equipment lately, and it's irritating me. My microphone is off on my Basketball Wives review and my Grown Up Hip Hop review. The microphone was screwed up again. So I apologize in advance if you go and look at those videos. Ugh. You know, I was watching and reviewing Harlem, but nobody was looking at the reviews, so I stopped. You know, but everybody keeps talking about this season is good, so I don't know. I might pick it back up. I haven't looked at any episodes this season. So what's up, everybody? Let me go through and say hi. What's up, Lemon Kush? Hey, what's up, Keisha? Quintessential Tan. Hey. What's up, Janae? While we're waiting, has anyone been? Oh, y'all, that's what y'all was. I'm sorry that I kept y'all waiting, but I'm glad y'all had a conversation about Harlem. Conversations and libations. Hey, R and Diva, what's going on? Gotta find a I was doing Harlem. Nobody was watching. When I say nobody's watching the reviews, like I would get less than 100 views. So I was like, well, if ain't nobody gonna watch the reviews, ain't no need to be doing the reviews. Part 2 was good. I wish they would have elected a moderator for colorism. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. We'll talk about that. Hey, Cahoots, how you doing? Hey, Cam's boo. Mwah. Honestly, felt like the colorism conversation was edited because I felt like Wendy had a lot more to say. Love Harlem. What is the lipstick queen? Or what's up, lipstick queen? Hey. What's up, Nikki? How you guys doing? Hey, Jonathan. It was the devil. We rebuke him. Child, it was the devil because I was ready early. It's funny because I actually was going to go live early, and I had come into the studio because I was going to go live at like 9:06 because I had been watching it in real time. So I was ready to go live right at 9 o'clock. But I said, well, let me put my dishes in the sink, whatever. And by the time I finished doing all that, it was still not 9:10. I said, well, I'll go ahead and go early because I know Scotty's going to go, Mims is going to go. So I'll go ahead and start early. And then my camera wouldn't work. Anyway, so we are here for the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7 Reunion Part 2. I think Part 2 was decent. There was a part of this reunion where I was thoroughly pissed off. And what I mean pissed off, I mean I was so angry at a certain part of this reunion that I was, you know how you get so mad you ready to cry? Mad. Like that is how mad I was. And when Wendy started crying, I felt her in that moment. And I'll get there. Let me get my notes. CC Freak said he enjoyed it. You think you know what part I was talking about? Yeah, I was angry. Lord, I can't find my notes. Okay. My notes. Okay. Yeah. I was actually proud of with the colorism comment. We'll get there. Let's go in order. Karen and Chris, we pick up where we left off with Karen, Candace, and the Chris conversation. They brought in the Deborah piece of it and the fact that Deborah's version of the story doesn't line up with what the editor showed. Ashley's response was, yeah, I was a little disappointed because that's not the story that my friend told me, and I've never known her to be a liar. But she said that the editing didn't reflect the conversation, and Chris's mouth didn't match what he was saying. Ashley, girl, when you talk out loud, do you really hear yourself? Like, when you talk out loud, do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth when you speak? Because you sound like a damn fool. So you mean to tell me that in all of the stories that were told on Chris this season, because remember, Mia lied on Chris too, and said that Chris was staring at her. Yep, they didn't find any footage of that. Then it was, he touched my arm, he touched my butt, he complimented me, he wouldn't stop talking to me. Like, there was a lot of things that your friend Deborah said. Notice I'm not disrespecting her, and I'm not calling her a Muppet or nothing like that. I'm calling her by her name. There were a lot of things that Deborah accused Chris of. If y'all know how this goes with the footage and with production, if production had found any evidence, you don't think that would have been a better storyline for production than for them to create a moment between Candace and Chris having to sit down and have a conversation about what is appropriate and what is not appropriate and how you can and cannot and should not talk to my friends? Please. Production would have ate that up if they had been able to find anything to match what your friend said. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. His mouth didn't match what her friend was saying. Right. His mouth didn't match what you wanted his mouth to match. Ashley only did that because of her feelings for Candace since Michael was a target in the past. I'm surprised they don't have a cease and desist. Everybody keeps accusing Chris of things, but nobody can absolutely tell the truth. And that's it, R&D, but that is it. Like, my thing is, at the end of the day, the reality of the situation is, if production, and this is my opinion, if production had been able to connect any of what these women were saying about Chris, hell, if production had footage of Chris walking into Giselle's room last season after the reunion, you don't think they would have rolled that beautiful beam footage? Absolutely, they would have. They would have absolutely showed Chris talking to Giselle, saying, "Hey, let me talk to you," or Giselle saying, "Hey, let me talk to you," and it would have definitely showed them walking their happy asses right in that room and closing the door. They might have even given us a timestamp of when he walked out. Y'all know how they do. Y'all know how messy production is, especially when they're trying to create a moment. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that they would not have absolutely enjoyed creating that moment with Candace and Chris having to deal with Chris being inappropriate. That's just like when Ashley tried to say Chris was all in her DMs, and once Ashley explained it and went to talk to Candace, which is funny that they didn't show any of that footage about Chris sliding into her DMs. They haven't shown that yet. Now, they might show it next week, but I feel like we've passed this whole Chris moment with Ashley. They didn't even talk about that. But anybody who is on Instagram knows that if I post something on my Instagram story and somebody comments on my Instagram story, it goes into my DMs. Chris didn't slide into your DMs. You posted on your Instagram story that y'all was partying down to the park, and Chris said, y'all should come up here when y'all get done. And for you to say, oh, it was 2 a.m, ma'am, you posted it at 1. He was still at work. He was like, when y'all get done there, y'all need to come up here. And he probably said something along the lines of, I can get y'all some free drinks. You know, I had a bartender take care of you. Like, come on, that's what people do. I have friends that DJ. I have friends that bartend. I have friends that, my sister was a chef at restaurants all through the DC area. And she was real quick to be like, oh, well, I'd be like, well, I'm going to the movies. Oh, for real? Why don't y'all come by here when y'all get out the movies? I'll go ahead and put y'all on the, I'll go ahead and give you and your friends a reservation, or you and your date a reservation. Y'all come through here. I got you. Like, people do it all the time. So, again, if they had footage of anything Chris was doing that was inappropriate, I promise y'all, they would have posted it. Then they brought, again, they talked about Candace making the comment about Giselle and her fibroids. Now, we talk later on about her hysterectomy, so let me go on order of my notes because I don't want to get out of order with my notes. But I will talk about I know some people felt like what Candace said was disgusting. Some people didn't have a problem with it. I want to be fair and consistent in what I say and how I say it, because in the past, I have been very critical of the way in which Candace chooses to express the things. I think that Candace's mouth is very lethal, and in the past, I have definitely been very critical of it. But for some reason, this time it just ain't hit me no kind of way. Honestly, it did, because I know that one good thing. I know it don't. I know, but I honestly just feel like in that moment, I felt like in that moment, Candace was justified at taking a low blow at Giselle. Call me out. Say I'm wrong. That's fine. Check your field box. Don't mail it. I gotta change my description box. Cam, did you already put it in the mail? Please tell me you didn't already put something in the mail. I have got to change that description box. I do not have that PO box anymore, y'all. And nobody was sending me anything, so I got rid of it. Cams, I will DM you an address that you can mail it to if you have not already mailed it. Oh my gosh, y'all, I have got to change my description box. I'm so sorry. Please tell me you didn't already mail it. Not yet. Okay, good. I will DM you a good address for me. I trust you, so I can give you an address. I got rid of the PO box, and I keep forgetting to change the description box. Y'all know when you change debit cards and stuff, my PO box was on automatic debit, and I changed my debit card a couple of months back, and when it went to charge it, of course, it charged the old card. Yada yada yada. I said, well, I ain't getting a new box. I'm not doing the box anymore because it was expensive and nobody was using it. And it just was, so. New describer from your discussion will make it make sense this afternoon. I love your personality. I'm from the DMV. Well, hey, what's up, my DMV sis? Hey, girl. Thank you for coming over. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. I am mad about what Candace said. She was making a point. The uterus should have been the only sort of. And again, and that's the part I was going to say before I got distracted. I understood what Candace was saying. What Candace was saying was you had a whole storyline that you chose not to express. Now, Giselle says later on that she tried to say that the producers didn't share, that she has spoken about it, and that she can't control what the producers choose to share and what they don't choose to share. But I'm gonna call BS on that. But that's on me. I mean, that's whatever. Oh Lord, I can't read my own handwriting. I wrote, okay, the whole Happy Eddie thing, which was really a stretch. It was so ridiculous. What did I write here? Something video. Y'all can't read my whole damn handwriting. Canada video? Candace. Oh, Candace Instagram video. I couldn't read my own handwriting, child. Candace Instagram video. Giselle deserved that uterus comment the same way she thinks Wendy deserved that martini. Okay, and listen, and if I did feel sorry in the beginning, I damn sure didn't feel sorry by the end. But we're gonna get that. Oh, we're gonna get that. Candace's Instagram video. So they talked about the Instagram video, and Robin admitted that she didn't even look at the video, that she only posted that somebody sent that clip to her, and she made a whole moment, a whole spectacle about it based off of a clip that somebody sent her. Based on a clip that somebody sent her, where in the rest of the video, Giselle, Candace said nice things about you. Now, what I find to be interesting is if you go back to that episode and they speak on it in that episode, they say that Robin, remember Giselle had to let us know that Robin was in the bathroom, using the bathroom as she was watching this video. And then she came out of the bathroom and was like, girl, look at this. It never occurred to y'all two college educated women to watch the whole freaking video and see the context and see everything that Candace said. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, Candace, again, her biggest downfall is that she runs her mouth and she don't know when to shut up. I will say that all the time. And she does know how to read, and her words are lethal. But it never occurred to y'all to say, maybe we should watch this whole video before we create a whole moment at the table highlighting what she said in a 2-second clip out of a hour-long video. Never occurred to y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Let me go on and tell y'all the truth about stuff. Y'all know how sometimes y'all be telling me stuff, and y'all will say, well, so-and-so said such and such on their Instagram, and so-and-so said such and such on their Instagram. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all the truth. Sometimes I don't come down here and talk about it because I don't feel like watching the whole damn thing. And I know that in order for me to be fair and report to y'all what happened, I need to watch the whole thing. So like a couple of weeks ago when they was like Monique went live and Monique was talking about why she wasn't on Love Marriage Huntsville and yada yada yada. And I saw the clips, right? And when I went to her Instagram, because I said, I know I can't just watch these clips because this is the people take clips and they sensationalize. And I went down to Instagram and I saw that video was an hour long. I said, I don't mean no harm, but I don't feel like sitting through an hour long video on what Monique talking about. And she only said this for 5 seconds. Now I did end up doing it because the story started, more and more people was talking about it. And I was like, all right, let me go see what Monique is talking about. And I had to sit through it because it's not fair. Because just because somebody else reported it or another blog picked it up or another YouTuber picked it up, it doesn't mean that they picked it up in context because we know how this goes. Anyway, I love that you have to see it with your own eye. I feel like I do. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Sometimes if the live is too long, I ain't going to sit here and tell you, I'm telling y'all no lies. I'll be like, oh, well, I just ain't going to talk about it. Because I'll be feeling like sitting through all of that. And it'd be like a 2-second clip. I'm going to tell you who's famous for that. Melody Holt. That's why I don't never come down here and talk about what Melody be talking about on her lives. Because Melody be live for 2 hours. And it might be 2 minutes of what I really care about. Sorry, not doing it. But moving on. Did anybody know that Giselle had a sister? Oh, I did not know that. Oh, yeah, they did talk about that tonight. So anyway, they did talk about that. Okay. Robin didn't look at the whole video. I really have to do better with these notes, y'all. And on a reality show. Oh, and then Robin had the nerve to say to Candace, girl, you have to be open and share because you are on a reality show. So you know those words are going to come back and bite her all the way in the ass because they even spliced in the middle of the damn reunion when Robin was having her one-on-one with Andy and why she didn't understand why Candace had a problem. Because girl, you told Candace that she was obligated to share her life because she was on a reality show all the while you was hiding your life. Girl, bye. Then we went into the Karen show, the Grand Dame. Listen, y'all know, listen. Don't be laughing at my notes, Kenya, that I can't read. I was trying to eat and take my notes at the same time, so I was rushing to take my notes because I hadn't eaten dinner yet. So I was trying to eat my dinner and watch the show at the same time. Anyway, listen, let me tell you something. Y'all know I love the Grand Dame. I love the Grand Dame with all my heart. Hell, the Grand Dame liked my post today when I posted that I got her 4-wick candle. Okay, I love the Grand Dame. But let me tell y'all what y'all ain't gonna never hear me say. Let me tell y'all what y'all ain't never gonna hear me say. Y'all ain't never gonna hear me say that Karen don't be lying. Y'all ain't gonna never hear me say. I mean, I might say it when I'm on the panel just because they be coming at me a lot about Karen. But right here between us, just me and y'all, Karen be lying. Karen sat there and said that Wendy Williams inspired her to do her show. Then she said Carol Burnett inspired her to do her show. And then she said that her show is not like the Countess cabaret show. And Karen, girl, just say you wanted to do a live show. And that you wanted to do and you wanted to do a variety show. Child. I love Karen, but Karen knows she be lying. But let me tell you what. But you know who copying off of Karen now? Now, I'm not going to say Karen was copying off of Giselle and Robin because she wasn't. But she was copying off of other people who have done that. I will say that. But, you know, at this point, is anything new under the sun? But you know who's copying off of Karen now? Ashley. Ashley is doing a whole tour of live shows with drag queens. Have y'all seen that? She's doing a whole tour and going from city to city with different drag queens. Where you get that idea from, Ashley? Okay, girl. Moving on. Okay. Baby, and then Karen called Robin boring, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Child. Hopefully Ashley doesn't say child. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Shout out to the 145 people in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit that like button and come on in and have a seat, honey. It is free 99 and it is a free way to support the channel, as my boy Mims would say. So then we get to Giselle and her hysterectomy and her situation. I said this when it was on the show, and I think I even said it last week. I don't know, but I know I said it in my final review for the episode for the season. You only see 51 likes. I know we can get over 100 likes, y'all. Please and thank you. Thank you, R&D Diva. R&D Diva said we got to do better with them likes, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. But can y'all hit that like button, please? And thank you. I'm not a bird. Robin's stands could be called birds. Oh, goof. Phil, you a Robin stand? I would have never known that. Giselle said that her hysterectomy did not go well. It was only supposed to be a 3-hour procedure. Ended up being 7 hours. Her daughters were scared. She told them she was coming straight home. She ended up having to spend the night. And it was a scary thing. And I understand it. And I feel her on that. As you guys know, I've shared with you, I've been very candid that I had a partial hysterectomy. I didn't have a full hysterectomy. And mine, knock on wood, mine went well, and I did come home the same day. But I can only imagine how afraid I would have been and my family would have been had it not gone that way. And so for that, I feel her. Giselle said, Andy and Giselle both know, Giselle said, I think, that this is the most feedback that she has gotten on anything. And Candace was like, is this the first time you was real about anything? And again, I think we all can agree with Candace on that. I'm not going to say it's the first time, but I am going to say that it's the first time that I feel like she left herself to be vulnerable. Because even with the Jamal Bryant situation, even though he made her look stupid, I think she walked into that with her eyes wide open. I mean, the man cheated on you, treated you like ish the first time around, allegedly left you having a mental breakdown with 3 children. So you walked into that, whether we believe that it was a true storyline with Jamal Bryant or a fake storyline with Jamal Bryant, you walked into that with your eyes wide open. I think Sherman is really one of the only real storylines. I think that Giselle really did like Sherman, and I think it really hurt, and she was embarrassed when Sherman broke up with her and the way he broke up with her. Remember, he broke up with her right before Candace's wedding when they were supposed to be the date. And so I can understand that. Now, with all that niceness being said, the way you got that feedback is exactly what I've been saying all season about Giselle in this storyline. Because your demographic is women of a certain age, majority women of color. We deal with these issues and disproportionately from my understanding, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but from my understanding, than white women. And so this is absolutely a storyline that everybody, and even if you're not a woman that has had a hysterectomy, you definitely, if you are a woman, you deal with understanding that concept. You've had a sister, a mother, a cousin, a friend who's been through it. And so I definitely feel like you really missed an opportunity. And if she is telling the truth and the producers did not share, then the producers missed a golden opportunity at a genuine storyline. And I think it would have helped with the fans with Giselle. Now, like I said, just as fast as I had empathy for Giselle, it was gone. And then when Giselle started getting choked up, Baby, did y'all see Andy pulled the "No, I'm Your Boss" card on her when she said she got choked up and she acted like she didn't want to talk about it, and she said, "We'll talk about this later." Like she was talking to her friend, "We'll talk about this later." Andy was like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna talk about it now." I said, "Oh." I said, "Not Andy putting his foot down." I said, "Not Andy putting his foot down." Andy said, "No, ma'am. We're going to talk about this now. You're going to finish this story." I said, "Okay, Andy, I'll see you." I think it came off harsher than Andy probably meant for it to come off, but I understood what Andy was saying. First of all, girl, no, this is your package. We're not coming back to this. Two, finish it up. You're finally, because I feel like he was in that moment, he was being a producer as well. You're finally giving us something, Giselle. How many times have we seen Giselle get choked up at the reunion? How many times have we seen Giselle show some genuine, authentic feelings? I don't think we have. I mean, it's been 7 years, so I can't remember every single reunion, but how many times have we seen this? So honestly, y'all, I was here for all of it, okay? And this is coming from a woman that does not have part of her reproductive system. I was not offended by Candace's statement in the context of it being Giselle and what Giselle has done to her this season. When Sherman left, you know what? She did cry. You are absolutely correct, CC Freak. She did. You're right. You're right. And that's why I believe that that is really the only real storyline that Giselle has ever given us, because you're right. That is the only other time we saw some real emotion from her. You're absolutely correct. Remember when Giselle and Robin blamed production on Watch What Happens Live? I think the producers said, "Oh, hell no." Probably. But you're right, because that is when she called Robin crying the day of Candace's wedding, because Sherman broke up with her that day and told her he wasn't taking her to the wedding. You're right. I remember that now. Giselle didn't want to talk. Okay, let me make sure I got my notes for that. Okay. Then we get to Wendy's package. I've seen her cry when Jamal left her, but that was IRL. Baby, I don't know that. In real life? Oh, you mean like at the actual church when they broke up? Because I didn't see her cry on the show when they fake got back together, child. Okay. Wendy. We started off talking about Wendy's health. Glad she's feeling better. Then we got into the whole Peter thing and her and Mia. Now listen, here's where I started getting pissed. Here is where I really, really started getting pissed. And I might have a moment, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I might lose it for a second. Let me get to it. I might lose it for a second, child. I hope we have over 100 likes. We got 154 people in the room. Please and thank you. Hit the like button. I'm so glad you were here. I'm so appreciated. So Mia tried to claim that Wendy slept with Peter or had an inappropriate exchange with Peter. She insinuated that. And once again, Mia lied, because she went from "you gave him your cookie" to "y'all was at the restaurant and you offered him your cookie" to "I saw it on the camera at the restaurant." Girl, Peter ain't even effing with you anymore. How you see it on the camera? Like, man, you just be lying. And if you saw it on the camera, what did you see? You mean to tell me that Wendy, Dr. Wendy, Professor Wendy, Mother Wendy, wife Wendy laid across the table in Peter's restaurant and gave him the cookie? Really? What did you see on the camera? Because you didn't hear anything, because them cameras don't have no volume on them. Okay? You saw what? You saw the two of them sitting at a table discussing business. What did you see? Did you see her lean over maybe and it looked intimate? Did you see him grab her hand? Girl, what did you see? And you went from A to Z because you started off saying that the woman gave the man the cookie. See, here y'all go again, messing with people's marriages. Now, I don't think Eddie is tripping off of any of that. Okay. I don't think Eddie is tripping off of none of that. And you notice how Wendy didn't even really give it a whole lot of light. But once again, do you see how easy it is for y'all to just be going after people's marriages when you feel like your back is against the wall? Because Mia, you was feeling some kind of way because you was on the hot seat about what you did. And now all of a sudden, oh, well, you were inappropriate with Peter and you were giving people da-da-da-da-da-da. Ain't nobody heard that all season. Then we get to... This is where I started getting pissed off, y'all. We saw Rob. Okay, so they started talking about the fight again, child. And we see this unseen footage of Robin where she did say to Wendy, I know you don't want to fight on camera, girl. Get her, get her later. Get her when the camera ain't running, blah, blah, blah. But Robin, you do realize that did not help you, right? Because the reason why all of us were, and I mean, when I say us, if I'm not speaking to you, then I ain't speaking to you. But I mean, if it doesn't apply to you, then it don't apply to you. But the reason why we responded the way we responded is because you didn't seem to have a problem with the violence in this instance when it was directed at Wendy. So for you to say to Wendy, girl, if you want to fight, just don't do it on camera. Girl, either fight or shut up. Like all of that. So the unseen footage, it did show that you were telling Wendy not on camera, but it did not show that you weren't encouraging a fight. And once again, I rewind the tape back 2 seasons where Monique and and Candace's altercation was the worst thing to happen in reality TV. And how dare you? And you have given all of us a bad name and you have torn all of us down. So now all of a sudden it's okay to fight as long as it ain't on camera. And what Wendy said was absolutely accurate. Wendy said, my issue, it does not clear you up because my issue is nobody addressed Mia. Mia was the aggressor. Mia attacked me, yet everything was directed at me. Every conversation, every chastisement, every issue was directed at me. And Robin's response was, well, that's because I just don't like her. And then you say, and Karen was in a better position to say something to Wendy. Why? Why was Karen in a better position? And Karen was like, what you not going to do is bring me in the middle of your bullshit. And I excuse my language, but your bullshit. Why was it better for me? Why? Because I'm the oldest one in the group? Why? Because y'all didn't want to deal with Wendy? Y'all didn't like Wendy? Why? Because I was the one sitting there? Like, why was Karen supposed to take the brunt of that whole situation on her back and be Mother Teresa? Why? Any other time, y'all telling Karen that she isn't the grand dame and she don't run nothing and she not in charge of the girls. Now, all of a sudden, when it's convenient for you, because you don't like Wendy for whatever your reason is, and we'll get there in a minute. But because you don't like her, now all of a sudden it's Karen's job. Then Mia lying ass talking about because Andy was like, well, why did you get so upset? Because it doesn't seem like Wendy said anything that was that serious, especially since you are open. Well, let me finish this. When Mia gonna say, well, I just didn't appreciate the things she was saying about my marriage and my husband. And Andy was like, girl, ain't nobody say that until after you threw the drink. The comments about your marriage were said between the drink and the purse. And I hate the fact that everybody focuses on the drink, yet people want to conveniently forget about the purse. I mean, it came up a couple of times at the reunion about the purse. It was addressed a couple of times, but the majority of the people are focusing so much on that drink. They're not focusing on the purse. Ma'am, you hit that woman with your damn purse. Now listen, I know that people are scoffing at Wendy when she uses the word assault, but let's be clear, that is assault. Now, is it assault like you're going to go to jail assault? Is it assault like, you're going to have to do community service assault? Maybe not. But that's not change the fact that you took a foreign object and you hit. What if the edge of your purse has scratched her cornea? Oh, now you're going to jail. Now you're going to civil court and you're going to pay all her medical expenses. What if the corner of your purse had hit her in the temple of her head and knocked her out that damn chair? What if it had hit her in the back of her head and given her a concussion? We don't know what's inside Mia's purse. And I'm not even saying being funny. I'm not being melodramatic. These are all things that when people say, oh, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Yeah, the purse hit her. The purse hit her. I feel better because Wendy said she wanted to beat her ass. Absolutely. Well, you know Wendy wanted to, because Wendy said it. Wendy said, when we get back to the house, I'm going to beat your ass. Oh, Wendy said that. That's why they didn't want Wendy to go back to the house at night. That's why Wendy went to that damn hotel. Trust and believe, Mia didn't have the authority to put Wendy out that house. Wendy not staying in that house, it didn't have nothing to do with Mia saying it's my trip. Because Bravo paid for all that shit. Let's be clear. Bravo paid for that shit, okay? There are very few instances when they go on these group trips when Bravo doesn't pay or doesn't pay the majority. There are very few exceptions. Now, there have been times, I know it happens on Beverly Hills a lot because, again, a lot of times those women are using their own properties, and Bravo still pays them a stipend or what have you. I know when they took the trip to the south of France, Monique did pay for that trip. That's why all of them weren't in first class. Y'all remember when they went to the south of France with Monique a few seasons back? Remember, Monique got an upgrade to first class, and what my girl? Sharice, not my girl. And Sharice got the upgrade because Monique could upgrade 2 people. And remember, she took Monique with her. I mean, she took Giselle. I mean, damn it. She took Sharice with her because at the time, her and Sharice were friends. And the rest of the ladies were in maybe business class or coach. I don't think they were in coach. They were probably in business class. But remember, Monique actually did pay for that trip. Now, again, did Bravo reimburse her? Did Bravo give her a stipend? I'm sure there was some money exchanged. But that was Monique's trip. It happens on Beverly Hills a lot where they do, they pay for certain things. But again, it's because they really have the money. When they do private jets and stuff like that. I mean, there are a couple of women on that show that have their own jet. So that kind of stuff. But on these shows, Atlanta, New Jersey, Potomac, Bravo paying for that shit. So Mia didn't have the authority to put Wendy out. But I think it was when Wendy said, when we get back to the house, I'm going to beat your ass. I think that's when production was like, okay, Wendy, we need you to stay somewhere else tonight. You know what I'm saying? They brushed all that aside the rest of the season, but harped on season 5 when it was Candace. Child, Edge. Ooh, girl. So why was it Karen's issue? Unseen footage. I just want to make sure I'm staying on track. Candace, Monique. Okay. Of course, they were trying to show the connection between Candace and Monique. They asked Ashley about her writing the letter for Monique and it being a double standard. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually liked Ashley's answer. And y'all don't have to like what I'm getting ready to say, but I actually liked Ashley's answer because what Ashley said was everybody was coming down on Monique. So yep, I had Monique's back. And in this instance, everybody was attacking me, Wendy. So I had Wendy's back. And I think that was an honest, and we don't have to like her answer, but I do think that is her honest answer. She had Wendy's back in that situation because she didn't like the way Wendy was being treated. And I know a lot of people don't like Ashley, and y'all ain't gonna be here feeling it. But honestly, I was here for that. I think that was her honest answer. I think that was an honest answer. Thank you, Corey. This is Juvia's place. I got it today because I went and got me some new foundation, y'all. Y'all dogged me out so bad about my foundation being messed up the other day. But I went and got some foundation today, and this is from their berry collection. It's a gloss. That's why it's so glossy, child. And it's maroon. It's maroon. And it's from their berry collection. But Ashley was not there during the fight of Monique and Candace. Right. She was in the bathroom. And remember, she didn't write a letter about the fight. Her letter was about her experience with Candace. That is what her letter was about. And that's just my opinion. Again, I still have issues with Miss Ashley in a million different areas, but in that place, in that moment, at that time, I was absolutely there for it. Again, that don't absolve her from everything, child. I wrote in my notes, I don't like her as a defense. And I wrote in parentheses, Giselle and Robin. This is the part. I was already hot when Robin gave her little 2 cents. Here's where it went over the top for me, and I was so pissed. So we go through all of this, and Giselle's response is, when nothing else works, mind you, she tried to explain, she tried to compare, she tried to make a comparison, but at the end of the day, when it's all over said and done, all you could come up with is, well, I don't like her, so... First of all, that's what children say. That is an excuse that children give when I deal with children in my line of work. And when I mean children, I mean when I was in middle school dealing with middle school kids that had a middle school mentality. That's number one. Do you think that I allow my high school students, when I'm sitting in front of them and they had a fight or they had a disagreement, do you think that I allow them to give me the answer, well, I just don't like them? No, ma'am, no, sir. You physically assaulted somebody. Y'all were in a physical altercation. Y'all were throwing fists, pulling hair, and everything else. Do you think that I allow that to be an acceptable answer when one of my students is sitting in front of me beat up and bloody? No. So I damn sure don't accept it as an answer from a 50-something-year-old woman. Just to say, I don't like her. Ma'am, let's explore why you don't like her. Let's have the conversation. And again, I know people, in that instance, I do feel like Andy should have pressed it. Andy should have said, well, Robin, I heard you say it. And Giselle, I heard you say it. And y'all said it that night because we saw it in the episode. And you're still saying it 10 months later. What is it about Wendy that you don't like? When did you stop liking Wendy? What did Wendy do to you to make her become persona non grata? Because y'all was cool when y'all was all coming after Monique. Y'all was cool when y'all felt like X, Y, and Z was going down. But now all of a sudden, I don't like her. Now, last season, and don't tell me because of when she read Robin down when they was down at Virginia last season. No, because it started before that, because the two of y'all had put your heads together and decided that y'all was going to come after Wendy, then y'all was going to come after Wendy and her husband's marriage, and y'all was going to tear that woman down, and y'all was going to try to make her ashamed for getting her butt done and her breasts done and feeling good about herself. And then when she brought up your plastic surgery, Giselle, your response was, well, I had a tummy tuck because I had twins. Okay, well, Wendy didn't carry 3 kids in her uterus. Maybe that's why she wanted to have a little bit of surgery. But for y'all to insinuate that she had surgery because she was trying to hold on to her husband, no, y'all started that shit. So what is it, Giselle and Robin? When exactly did y'all decide y'all didn't like Wendy, and why? And why? Because I don't like her is not an acceptable answer from a 50-something-year-old woman. Use your words, articulate your thoughts, and let's have an adult conversation. And sometimes everybody don't have to be friends. That's fine. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Giselle and Robin are obligated to be friends with Wendy. But what I am saying is you should be able to articulate your reason for not wanting to be friends with her better than I don't like her. So it's okay for her to be assaulted. It's okay for y'all to treat her like shit. It's okay for y'all to come at her the way y'all came at that woman, had that woman sitting there in tears. The way y'all treated that woman, it was okay because you don't like her. Bullshit. I was so pissed off, y'all. Oh, I was so mad. Oh, I was so mad. I was so mad because that was so fucking elementary school and juvenile that you would sit there and be like, well, I just don't like her. So it's okay for Wendy to talk to her, throw a drink in her face, hit her with a purse, and that was cool. That was okay because you just don't like her. And somebody said earlier that Karen looked old at this reunion. I didn't think Karen looked old at this reunion. I think Karen looked her age. I mean, Karen, she's not old, but you know. I didn't like the way she was scrunching up her face. I think the way she was scrunching up her face did make her look old because it made it look like something was wrong with her teeth. But when her face was relaxed, I think Karen looked fine. The person who I think looked old at this reunion was Giselle. The longer this reunion went on, the older Giselle looked. Now, that's just me. I know everybody has a different opinion. I think when Karen was scrunching up her mouth, I do think that made her look old. But when her face was relaxed, I thought she looked beautiful. Now, Giselle looked old to me. Karen looked like a muppet. Y'all are terrible. She did look like Madam. SDK. I think it was the lighting. It might have been. It's that dress. It pressed her wrinkles back to her neck. Was it the dress? Karen didn't look great. The top wasn't good. Okay, well, y'all ain't like Karen. Okay. Y'all know I'm biased, so I ain't about to argue with y'all, child. Y'all know how I love me some. Y'all know I love my Karen, so I'm giving her grace. But I do think Giselle looked old. Giselle's face looked old to me. It just made y'all that whole moment. It just made me so mad. And then when Wendy started crying, I felt her. When she started crying, I felt her in that moment. Oh, I felt her. Because I felt that was frustration, but it was also hurt. Because when you saw it on her face, when Giselle said, well, I don't like her, and just threw her hand like that, you saw it on Wendy's face. You saw it. You saw the hurt on Wendy's face because Wendy has tried really hard. Wendy has tried really, really hard to be friends with these women. And for somebody to just be that against you and have nothing more to offer you other than, I just don't like her. And that's also, we can't forget that Giselle and Wendy share a bond because they are a member of the same sorority. And Wendy even reached out to Giselle on the strength of their sisterhood and their bond of this sorority. They're supposed to, and that don't mean that just because they're in the same sorority, they got to be friends. But there is a little bit of respect that should be there because they are both members of the same sorority. There is a level of sisterhood. At the very least, give me more than I don't like her. At the very least. I think Wendy is hurt because she doesn't understand why they don't like her. Exactly. And again, I don't even think Wendy needs the validation. I just think Wendy is like, what the f have I done to y'all? What have I done to y'all? And they don't have an answer because there is no reason. Now, I will say this. I'm done with that. I think I done went off for the last 15 minutes. I'm done with that. Let's not ignore the sorority and the color discussion. I just spoke on the sorority, cahoots. I just did a whole thing on the sorority. Let's talk about the colorism conversation. I can respect the fact that Andy was like, I'm not the person. I accept that it's there. And I understand it's a nuanced part of Black culture. And I'm not the person for that. It ain't me. It's not my place. I respect the hell out of that. I respect the fact that the producers reached out to the women and said, how do we need to handle this? We understand. And how do you need us to handle it? I respect that. Now, again, other people might have an issue with it, but I respect the fact that Andy said it ain't my place. I accept that this is not my place. Do we need to bring in a moderator? How do we need to handle this segment? And I also respect the fact that they're not ignoring it, because it did become such a part of the conversation that they're not ignoring it. And I can respect that. Here's what I'm going to say, though. I feel like the Real Housewives of Potomac, Married to Medicine, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I feel like, not the full cast, obviously, but I feel like there needs to be a separate conversation in a separate space with a moderator where those women can participate in a forum that is fully dedicated to the topic, with someone who is knowledgeable of the topic in that space. That's my opinion. I think they did the best they could with what they had in that space. That's my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Hey, Phil. Thank you so much, my love. I agree. They deserve to give Wendy an explanation for why they didn't like her. However, when Candace was crying about Monique, she was ridiculed and judged for crying. As a Robin fan, she's wrong a lot. See, I can appreciate when somebody say, listen, I'm a fan of this person, but that don't mean they right all the time. Because y'all know I love the Grand Dame, but y'all know I'll be calling Karen out. Karen be lying, child. Karen be lying. Thank you, Phil. Thank you so much. I saw a comment Candace posted saying they voted to have a moderator and she was voted out. Huh? They voted and the majority said no. Okay. And like I said, I just don't think that in the middle of a reunion where you have 500 other things to talk about, that is the most appropriate place, time, and space. I just think that it just, it had to be addressed. Now, I will say this. I can appreciate that everybody, and I do feel like it was edited. Somebody said earlier that they feel like this was edited. It absolutely was edited. It absolutely was a longer conversation. I feel like a couple of things that I think came up in that conversation. I can appreciate the fact that I think I said that everybody stayed calm. Candace gave an example. Oh, Lord. Okay. Let me say it this way. Candace gave an example. Robin didn't understand the example. Giselle didn't understand the example. I can appreciate Ashley, and again, I know y'all not going to like what I'm getting ready to say. I can appreciate the fact that Ashley acknowledged her privilege, because here's the reality. Ashley acknowledged her privilege, which is more than on camera Giselle and Robin did. I think Karen did a good job of acknowledging the privilege, acknowledging the history and how it has been indoctrinated in us. I have never said that colorism doesn't exist. People have asked me on my platform, you don't believe it exists? Why don't you want to talk about it? Blah, blah, blah. Here's why I don't participate in colorism conversations a lot. Yes, did I say? I thought I said Karen. Karen and Ashley both acknowledged. I might have said the wrong name because I know I'm good with mess up a name. Robin and Giselle did not on camera. Karen and Ashley did. Here is the thing. Colorism absolutely exists. We know it exists. It is absolutely a part of Black culture. And it has been indoctrinated in us going back to slavery within this country. Okay? It has always been used to separate ourselves, and it has always been passed down. It was indoctrinated in us from slavery to say the light-skinned slaves stay inside, the dark-skinned slaves stay outside. A lot of times the light-skinned slaves were family members of the owners or somebody's owner. That's how they got to be light-skinned to begin with. Okay, not in every instance. I'm speaking general. Please don't. I ain't doing this. I'm speaking in general terms. That was indoctrinated in us, that when we became free, we were within our own culture separated ourselves, because the lighter your skin was, the better your life was. And in a lot of cases, we had Black people who even passed for white. Okay. And so it was almost like the lighter you were, the closer you were to that perfect, quote unquote, that perfect place. We know all of those things to be true. We know all those things to be true. But what I am going to say is this. Every example ain't colorism. And I think the fans have made this a bigger issue than it is. That's my opinion. And I know y'all ain't gonna like it. I know y'all not gonna agree with it. And that's okay. I love y'all anyway. And when I say y'all, I don't mean every single person. I'm not saying colorism doesn't exist. I'm not saying that there isn't privilege. I'm not saying that there isn't in any what's the word I'm looking for? Unconscious examples of colorism. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But just like every time a white person doesn't like a Black person doesn't make it racism. Every time a light-skinned person has a problem with a dark-skinned person doesn't mean it's colorism. Sometimes you just don't like people. Sometimes you just don't get along with people. Sometimes you just don't see it for people. And it's not always about colorism. Every time a white person has a problem with the Black person, it doesn't mean they're racist. And every time a light-skinned person has an issue with a dark-skinned person, doesn't make them a colorist. And that is why the colorism conversation gets lost in translation, because we want to paint everything with the same broad stroke, and it ain't always that. Now, does Robin have an issue with colorism? Does she dislike Wendy because she's dark-skinned? I can't answer that. Does Giselle give Wendy or Candace a hard time because of they're a darker hue? I can't answer that. But what I can say is, it doesn't automatically mean that. And that's my opinion. Now, you can take my opinion and you can add it with 2 cents, and guess what? You still gonna have 2 cents. So take it for what it's worth. But I can appreciate that the conversation was approached. I can appreciate that Andy understood that it wasn't his place to moderate. I can appreciate that Ashley knows that her life is easier because she is light-skinned and she acknowledges her privilege. And I just think that's about as far as we could go with that in the middle of a 3-part reunion. I just think that's all we can walk away with. I think Real Housewives of Potomac gets the colorism backlash opposed to Atlanta because there's a clear divide of dark and light cast members. Plus, originally Potomac was supposed to be a show about Jack and Jill. All right. The fans play the biggest part in colorism because they have double standards and it affects the show. Thank you, Really Be. Everything isn't colorist based on I can't stand Giselle or Robin, not because they're light-skinned, but because they're hateful, obnoxious, bitter-ass bitches. Oh, okay. The simple fact that certain terms against the darker skin cast member, that's where my colorism assessment comes in, because how can you call Monique and Candace, I think you were going to say aggressive. Okay. I mean, again, everybody sees it the way they see it. Everybody sees it the way they see it. You know. But again, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Yep. You know. So that's just my opinion. That is my opinion. But I would like to see I would like to see this topic approached in the correct forum with a qualified moderator. Don't bring Nina on here. Don't bring somebody that would host a reunion. Bring somebody who has studied colorism. Bring me a PhD, a professor that teaches it on a college level. Bring me somebody who has the nuances to break it down in a way that is effective for everybody in the room to understand. That is what I need, and then we can talk about it. Right? That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Yeah, no Ayanla, none of that. I want somebody who really, truly, this is what they do. And because here's the reality, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to be done with it because I could do this for another 20 minutes. Here's the reality. What I need is for somebody that can do more than bring me the Webster's definition. And that's no disrespect to Candace, because again, this conversation was a nuanced form and in a nuanced format. But I need somebody that can bring me more than a definition of the word, because we can all Google colorism. But I need somebody that can teach us. Because I don't claim to know everything either. And I teach this. And I have studied and I have taken programs and But I can always learn. I'm always here to learn. I'm always here to know more. And so I'm here for that. I'm absolutely here for that. So that's just my thing. Then we have, and that's what I wrote in my notes. I appreciate the calm, Ashley's acknowledgement of the privilege, Karen acknowledging the history of it. And that's just kind of where I wrote. Then we have Jacqueline come out, and that's kind of where they left us hanging. I mean, they got into the package showing the demise of the Jacqueline and Mia relationship. And basically, it looks like that Mia and Jacqueline are just about to sit out here and just tell all each other's business. That's what it just sounds like to me. They just about to sit there and just tell on each other while we all sit back and eat popcorn and eat it up. It's a shame because I think they were friends in real life. I think they really... I thought somebody was at my door. I think they are friends. They were really friends in real life that been through some things together. And I think now they're really about to just get on this show and tell everybody and tell all their business. I feel like Mia was a little apologetic in the beginning of this. You could hear in her voice, yeah, I'm sorry it came to this. Yeah, it was unfortunate. And you heard her even say, everybody knows that I just forget things the next day. So, I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. I had moved on. I really feel like that was Mia's way of basically wanting to apologize and wanting to walk this shit back. But by the time the reunion had come around, it had gone too far. I mean, Mia had put in the group chat telling all of Jacqueline's business, saying that she was on food stamps and her house was about to be foreclosed on and all of this. And then we know that Mia released the video of Jackie fighting her ex-boyfriend, the father of her child. Like, there are points of no return. I was having this conversation earlier with a friend of mine, and I was like, friends argue, friends disagree. That happens. Like, that happens. But even that's like with your husband or your significant other. I mean, wife, husband, significant other. You can argue, but you can't cut to the white meat. Because at the end of the day, when it's time to make up, you can't take that stuff back. Like I was telling the person I was talking to, I said, if I'm behind on my mortgage and I might be getting ready to lose my house, and I confide that in you when me and you were on good terms and you're my friend, and I'm like, man, I really effed up. I really effed up my bills. I'm behind on my mortgage. I don't know what I'm going to do. And let's say you talk to me and you say, well, call the mortgage company. Tell them this is going on. See if you can get and you help me through that situation. And then 6 months later, me and you fight and you let everybody know. And that's, if me and you get into a fight, this is the exact example I used to this person. I said, if me and you get into a fight 6 months later and you call me fat, we can come back from that. Because damn it, I'm fat. Okay? We can come back from that. But if 6 months later, me and you get into a fight and you start talking about how, and that's why you can't even take care of yourself, you was going to lose your house. If it wasn't for me, you'd be on the street. You'd be homeless. And you told everybody my business. You let everybody know that I almost lost my home, regardless of whether it's true or not. Me and you we can't come back from that. Now, we can come back from you calling me fat. We can come back from you calling me sloppy. We can come back from you saying to me, girl, every time I come over your house, you got dishes in the sink. Why is your house always so dirty? We can come back from that too. But you telling my personal business, it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. We can't come back from. So you posting that video on social media, on Instagram, showing me getting in a physical altercation with the father of my child, we can't come back from that. You putting in a group chat that I almost lost my home and that I was on public assistance, regardless of, first of all, it's Mia, so her ass was probably lying. But regardless of whether it's true or not, we can't come back from that because there are lines you've crossed now. So Mia, you sitting there and now talking about, oh, well, you know, I forgot it the next day. I didn't think nothing about it. Okay, CC Freak, I'm about to wind down anyway, boo. But thank you for being here. I know a lot of y'all be pulling double and triple duty on Sunday nights, and I appreciate y'all for being here. I appreciate everybody for being here. Yeah, no, you don't get to wake up the next day after you done had mad day and you done put all my business in the street and you think we're gonna make up. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't come back from that. And let's be clear. Me and my best friend have gotten into some arguments. Not now. We're older now, child. We don't argue no more. If I do something to piss her off, she'd be like, child, whatever. And if she do something to piss me off, I'd be like, Lord, here we go. But when we were younger, before we knew how to use our words and before we really understood each other's personality and our tempers and when to walk away and when not to walk away and how far to push each other, oh, yeah, we got into it. We definitely did. But I never threw anything. I mean, the stuff I said to her were the issues that I was having with her in that moment. I ain't never come back and be like, well, you remember that day that we was down at the 7-Eleven and you ain't had no money and I bought you a soda? Remember, you wouldn't have had nothing to drink that day if it wasn't for me. I ain't never did no shit like that. And vice versa. She ain't never say, well, you remember that time that we were stranded at the mall and my mama came and picked us up? You would have been walking home. Like, we never did shit like that. Now, I might say, it really irritates me when you da-da-da-da-da. I feel like you are talking down to me. I feel like you know, are condescending. Yeah, that is an issue between us as it related to why we were mad or why we were arguing. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, y'all know what I'm saying, child. Let me look at a couple of these comments before I wind this down. It is 143 people in the room. I know we got over 100 likes because at one point I was up to 160 something people. So we should be at like 100 likes. I mean, 100%, right? We should have 140 likes, y'all. I'm here. I prefer hearing Really B's perspective. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, my love. Mad Day just displays how immature, childish, and petty you are. You were never a friend. And it also tells me what you really think about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, you calling me fat. Okay, that's cool. I'm fat. I eat that because I am. But how far are you going to push that? You see what I'm saying? How far are you pushing your fat part? How far are you pushing it? Mia went low thinking for TV it would look good, but Jackie was okay with being her lackey as long as it benefit her. Absolutely, kid. Let me tell you something. Jackie ain't no martyr in this. Jackie is no martyr in this. And you heard Jackie say that. Jackie said, I defended you against these women for how many months? Because no matter how bad Mia was or how wrong Mia was, you was defending her. That's why I don't tell people anything, because the first opportunity they get, they throw it in your face. Then they can't understand that you don't care if they got rent. Lord, Lauren. Now I'm going to say this as it relates to me. As it relates to me, I do trust people and I do tell people. Now I'll tell everybody. I'll trust everybody. But like my best friend, we've been best friends so long, we don't remember meeting. Child, me and my core group of friends, we've known each other since we grew up in the same neighborhood. We went to school together. We were in Girl Scouts together, all through high school, all through college. Do we talk every day? No. Do we see each other every weekend? No. But at the end of the day, that's my core group. And if I ever need anything, I know they got me. I mean, I don't really have a lot of new friends. I think my closest new friends would be Abby and El Teddy. I don't have a whole lot of new friends. I got people I'm cool with. I got people I know. But friends? Nah. All right, y'all. Let me get a couple of more of these comments and then we're going to get out of here. If you are not subscribed to the channel and you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button, child, because, you know, this is what we do over here. You are blessed to have a core group of friends. I am, and I know I am, because I know that I have friends. Like I said, we've been friends forever. They know all my business, and if they ever want to put it out there, child, Lord knows they know it. Who they know it. I think originally it was friendly banter between the two, but it got ugly in Mexico. I agree. And I still think something clicked, because let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. And my best friend eventually is going to hear this video and she's going to be laughing when she going to call me and say, girl, I got to the video. Because listen, this talks about my friendship with my best friend. She listens to every single one of my YouTube videos. She just lets it play. She's a scientist. She works in a lab. She puts YouTube on and she just has a playlist and she just lets them play. She don't watch reality TV. She don't give a damn about celebrities. She don't know half the ish that we talk about on my channel. She don't know the people. She don't know the TV shows. She don't watch none of this. But because she's my friend and she supports me, she gives me a click and a view for every single video that I put on YouTube. So she eventually going to hear this. Now, she about a year behind. She's about 6 months behind. But she is going to hear this eventually. But I will say this. When it comes to our friendship, I have probably been the nastier friend. Because I'm nasty. I know y'all don't see that part of me, but I have a very nasty disposition when I want to. Now, it's a lot better now that I'm older. It's a lot better now that I'm older. But when I was younger and we were friends, we were younger, I was nasty disposition. And even in the midst of all of that, it just never went left. And so when I look at the Mia and I look at Mia, I say, see, I lost my train of thought. That ain't what the point I was making. I got sidetracked. The point I was making was she knows me. She knows me. She knows my good, my bad, my ugly. She knows my moods. She knows when I'm in a good mood. She knows what's going to piss me off. She knows if I'm going to be late. She knows if I'm going to be early. Like, we know each other. We know each other. So I say all that to say this. What happened between Mia and Jacqueline in that moment that took them to that place? Because y'all done been through it all. Y'all done been through the ups and the downs. Y'all done been embarrassed. Y'all done liked each other, loved each other, hated each other. What happened in Mexico, on the way to Mexico, on that plane? Something clicked, and it's more than what either one of them is saying. It's more than what they said on the show. And I mean, we might see next week in part 3 of this reunion, but it's more than what they see. It's more than what we've seen. All right. I didn't even really watch the show this season. I only been listening to you and T and Kempa. I shared your channel with my sister too. Thank you. Thank you, R&D, but thank you. I can have a blunt personality. I say what's on my mind and it turns people off. I'm working on it. Yeah, it's an acquired taste. And that's probably another reason why the people that have been friends with me for so long are still my friends, because they love me anyway. And I know I can be a bitch. Look, I'm not in denial. I'm not in denial. But I'm also nowhere close to being as mean as I used to be. And I can admit that. I can admit it and accept it. I'm not. Something else we don't know about Exactly. It's something else there. I just feel like that. That's my opinion. I feel like more happened than what we're getting. That's my opinion. All right, y'all. Let me shut this down. Giving you the real tea is live. I'm not sure if Mims is still live because I think he went live at 9:30. He may still be live. Y'all go check out. Scotty. I know went live. I'm not sure if he's still live either. But y'all make sure y'all catch everybody else. Please hit that like button on your way out the door. Tita says she will tell it after the show is over for the season. Oh, Tita gonna let it go. Tita gonna give it up. That's my girl right there. Tita's my girl. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure I check her out in the morning because she might be talking tomorrow. But Tita, my girl, like I told y'all before, I used to watch Tita even before all of this. I used to watch Tita because I used to like watching her when she would be out doing her Uber stuff. Because I just love watching her ride around the city and tell her stories and listening to her music. I like watching Tita. It's definitely just a lifestyle vlog. You see her. I like seeing her. Like I said, I like seeing her when she out doing her Uber runs. Now she does Uber Eats. She don't really have people in her car like that. She does like Uber Eats, and I love it. I love watching it. But anyway, y'all, let me get off of here so I can get ready to go to bed, child. It's another week. She does. Tita's a sweetheart. I think I'm gonna take her out to lunch one day. I'm gonna reach out to her. Maybe during my spring break when I have some free time during the day. Cause actually during the day she nannies, so maybe it would be better for me to meet up with her in the evening. But I may reach out to her and see if she wants to meet up and go to lunch. I take her out to lunch somewhere and we could just chill and talk for a little while. She seems like a really nice woman. She really does. She's like a really nice woman. Anyway, y'all, let me go. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all have a great week. We'll probably have a tribe meeting tomorrow. Tuesday night, we're having game night. We're having Black History Month game night. So meet me back here Tuesday night. We're going to play some Cahoots. And yeah, that's what we got going on. I will talk to y'all later.